What's going on, beautiful people? We are back once again with another video, and today I wanted to bring you guys a food for thought. Now, as you guys know, I try to base these food for thoughts off of my experience, and I try to be very transparent with my journey, with everything that I go through on this channel and with you guys, because for those of you who tune in, I greatly appreciate it, and you guys are giving me your time. So I try to share the lessons that I learned throughout my life with you guys. So if you're going through a similar thing, maybe my experience can help you get through it easier. Now, like I said, I try to be as transparent as possible, and with my journey and with what I'm trying to do, there are going to be high times and there are going to be low times, and I kind of went through somewhat of a low time. Like, I got fired. But I'm not here to talk about me getting fired. I wanted to come here and talk to you guys about why it didn't bother me that I got fired. First and foremost, I think as human beings, our natural reaction to bad things happening is, we get into a victim mindset. We say, woe is me, this is unfair. I mean, even if it is unfair, but we're looking for pity, we're looking for sympathy, like we're looking for someone to be angry with us. And I noticed this early on in my life, and over the course of this year and last year, I've been working very hard to stray away from that. If you guys didn't know, I was working at a production company when I first moved back to Arizona, and I was working there for a solid 3 months, and one day they just called me in and they were like, we just don't have any more work for you, we're gonna have to let you go. And I said, okay, contact me if you need me, and I appreciate the opportunity. And this is why it didn't affect me. First and foremost, when you're at the ends rope of a job, you kind of notice it. Me, at least, I have very good intuition. If I feel a shift in the air, I can kind of tell, ooh, something's gonna go awry. So let me start getting my ducks in the row. So what I mean by getting your ducks in a row is banking your money, saving it. How are you handling your finances? Me, for example, I try to pay as many bills off in advance as possible. So for example, right when I knew I was about to get fired, I paid my rent 2 months in advance. Phone bill already handled. Insurance already put the money aside in a shoebox. So all these things that would worry me, because now I'm at a financial loss because I don't have that extra $500,000, however much of those checks were bringing into my house, I no longer have that. So that was my first thing, is I made sure I was financially stable, and I also gave myself runway. And I gave myself runway from when I was working at the cafe because I was making so much money. So instead of going off and blowing all that money, what I did was I just put it all into the bank. A rainy day fund, but a really big rainy day fund. You know what I mean? So I put off, me personally, I try to keep $3,000 away in the bank. So if anything were to happen, if I were to have to, go out of work for 2-3 months, I would still be okay. And then the second thing I did was, live under your means a little bit. When you're setting up your finances, you should always leave yourself with extra. If the lifestyle that you're living right now, and you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're not putting away anything, you should definitely reevaluate what you're doing and how you're handling your money, because let's say something goes unexpected, something bad happens, and then you're going to be panicking, you're going to be ass out. And that's one thing I'm really proud of myself now that I'm able to say that I do, because I remember when those things used to happen to me, I'd just be like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to afford this? How am I going to pay for this? I'm just going to have to sell everything I own. But no, I'm actually to the point now where I'm like, okay, well, this unfortunate event happened, and now I can move on with my lifestyle. I can move on with my life. I don't have to really cut ends. I can still live comfortably. And that's something that's super big and super a lot of people aren't able to do. So think about that. Excuse you. Olena. The next thing, plan ahead. I knew from a couple weeks in that the job that I was at wasn't what I wanted for long term anyway. So what I was doing the whole entire time while gaining that experience was going and applying that knowledge elsewhere. So I was working on my own craft, incorporating things I learned from the job into my own skills. Like as you guys see, I've been doing different things with my YouTube videos, different things on Instagram, and just applying it in other places so that knowledge is now applied knowledge. That now I understand the concept more wholly than I would if I'm just at work going through the motions every day. I'm able to actually do it and now do it so well that I can do it for somebody else, which in turn leads me to being able to apply to different companies, which in turn leads me to be able to apply to different companies. The biggest thing I've learned, and one of the biggest reasons I've always wanted to work for myself, is whenever you're on somebody's payroll, whenever you're working for somebody, they can get rid of you at any point in time that they want to. But you know who can't get rid of you is yourself. So, as my dad told me, you can live your life either building your own empire or building somebody else's. But when you're building somebody else's empire, you have to always remember and understand that you are at their mercy. Let's say they're having a bad day and all of a sudden, you do one minor mistake and they just blow up and let you go, that you're out of a job. The only reliable way to get income is to rely on yourself, and I'm a big believer in that. And I understand running a business and doing things of that such isn't for everybody, but that does not mean that you can only have one stream of income. Me, I always have had 2 to 3 jobs. I do security, I do freelancing, and then I'm usually working with some sort of company, whether it be a restaurant, whether it be another production agency, things like that. But that way, I know if my big stream fails me, I'm not completely ass out because I'm still eating from these other 2 streams. And that's something that I implore you guys to look into and research. I mean, I understand we only have so much energy. We only have so many things that we can do in a week. And yes, it does get tiring, but just little jobs, little part-time things that you can do, like 1 to 2 days a week. Believe me, the extra money helps. And until you get to the point where you are fully, I don't want to say comfortable, but you're fully secure financially. Then I would definitely explore or think about having more than one stream of income. Because like I said, if one thing fails, you always have this other thing to fall back on. Last but not least, I just really wanted to explore the mindset. Like I said, usually, naturally, as people, we have this habit of when things go wrong, saying, woe is me, and just being very angry about the situation. And don't get me wrong, it's okay to be upset, but instead of looking at it as a negative, look at this failure as a positive. Funny enough, before I got fired, I was writing in my notebook. I do journaling every now and then. And in my journaling, I write down goals, and I'm very specific with those goals. And funny enough, that weekend before I went into work that Monday, I wrote down in my notebook, I said, by January 15th, 2020, I want to find a new job that's going to pay me $50,000 a year, working within a production company, and allows me to grow my skills, apply my skills, and learn as a video producer and business owner. If I hadn't wrote that down, I wouldn't have understood why I got fired. I didn't get fired because anything really, but simply because that was the universe's way of saying, hey, if you want to be here, you have to let this one go. And I was totally okay with that. I firmly believe that we are always exactly where we are supposed to be when we need to be there. I am very pronoid instead of paranoid. The term pronoia means that you believe that the universe is working in your favor. Things happen to me in my life to help me, one, learn from experiences, two, protect me from other bad things that could possibly happen to me, and three, give me, once again, just give me perspective. So, bad things do happen in life, but it is our responsibility. We can control how we react to those situations. And especially if you're someone like me, you have a big dream. Nipsey Hussle said in a song with DJ Mustard, Imperfect 10, that the difference between him and the people who are going through similar situations, and you know, whoever's going to go through it next or who already went through it before him, is that he didn't give up. And I identify with that idea a lot, because although over these 7 years, over the last 3 years where I really wanted to go, 4 years now, I wanted to go at this thing professionally, every single time I get knocked down, I don't give up. And I want you guys to do the same. If you truly believe in your dream, don't let anybody knock you down. Don't let anybody, tell you that you have to have a plan B, tell you it's not going to work. Those people are the people who gave up on their dreams. And yes, your life might be hard now, but once you get to where you want to be, the fruits are going to be so plentiful, so sweet, that you're going to look back on all the hardships that you had to go through, and you're just going to laugh and say thank you. That's the food for thought for today. I just want you guys to, number one, think about your finances. How are you handling your money? Two, understand, all bad things aren't really bad things. There's lessons to be learned everywhere. And lastly, I just want to thank you guys once again for tuning in. Down in the comments, drop, just the experience that you learned from, and share this video with someone that you think needs to hear it. And once again, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you very soon.